Part 13. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 121. A teleported light curtain descended. All the troops in the Grey World have returned to the sacred tree island. Pikachu, Uami, and the little white fox excitedly ran under the sacred tree. These little guys seem to like being close to the sacred tree. This is because the sacred tree has been growing more and more in the direction of the sacred tree recently, and the nourishing breath has changed. It has something to do with getting stronger and stronger. At this moment, Angelman suddenly descended from the sky. Pikachu and the others were all shocked. The little white fox instantly hid in the crack in the void. Uami was so frightened that she quickly possessed Pikachu. Angelman suddenly felt a little aggrieved. I finally saw my friends back. Why are you still scared? After evolving, did he become so scary? After some sensing, I realized that Angelman is the evolved form of Patamon. The Pikachus also reacted at this time, surrounding Angelman one after another, their eyes full of curiosity. This is the first time I've seen a companion that can evolve. At this moment, a Pikachu discovered that Squirtle ran under the special growth fruit tree and secretly ate the fruit. Pick up! Pikachu shouted immediately, attracting all the friends around him. Lushu smiled and said, go and eat, there are still a lot of fruits there. You all have scored, don't worry. In the first growth cycle, a total of 500 special growth fruits were obtained. Patamon ate 100 of them and evolved into Angelman. Squirtle ate 100 of them, and the remaining 300 were just enough. Pikachu, Little White Fox and Uami divided it up. Look carefully. 100 Squirtles have all eaten the special growth fruits, and they have become quite huge. If we say that, the Squirtles in the past were a bit bigger. Similar to the golden dragon koi of the past. So, the current Squirtle is like a small moving island, and its growth shape is quite exaggerated. When walking through the territory of magical plants, you must be careful, for fear of stepping on it the flowers and plants there were smashed. Fortunately, there is a mobile defense fortress, which can be used as a ladder to carry the bodies of these big guys to the resting area on the coast. Lushu thought that he would simply send the fruit to G in the future. Forget about the turtle's habitat, so as not to move these huge bodies one by one, coming here and back again, it would be so hard to make 2 trips. Open the pet panel. Squirtle. Type, Pokemon. Powers, Rocket Headbutt, Water Cannon, Impact, Bubble Light, Water Fruit, Freezing Light, Megaton Boxing, New. Physical, S+. Speed, S. Mental, A+. Overall potential, S+. Lushu raised his brows slightly and couldn't help but admired what a good guy, he has gained such a powerful power. The overall potential has also been upgraded to S and level. This new power has explosive physical damage, which can cause terrifying effects even against the Abyss Overlord. 100 Squirtles released a million-ton punch at the same time. What is the concept of this? That is a billion-ton punch. Who can withstand it? Lushu couldn't help but nodded with satisfaction. Squirtle's initial the overall potential does not seem high, but the subsequent growth space is really amazing. Then, Pikachu, Uami, and the little white fox all swallowed the special growth fruits. Soon, one after another popped up in front of them. New pet panel. Pikachu. Type, Pokemon. Power, 100,000 volts, Shock Fruit, Charinon, Chidori. Physical, S. Speed, S+. Spirit, S+. Comprehensive Potential, SS+. Uami. Type, Magic Cat. Powers, Hitting and Blocking, Fishing Missile, Uami Possession, High Energy, Final Chapter of Grimoire, Shining Fruit, Wood Release. Physical, A+. Speed, S. Spirit, S+. Comprehensive potential, SS+. Escape Fox. Type, Elf. Powers, Void Teleportation, Hostile Perception, Void Crack, Dark Fruit. Physical, A+. Speed, S. Spirit, S+. Comprehensive Potential, SS+. For Pikachu, UMI, and Little White Fox, a little improvement in attributes can no longer increase the upper limit of their potential too much. Certainly. Lushu was not too anxious. After reaching this height, it will naturally be difficult to go up again. Moreover, the comprehensive potential is just a reference. It still depends on the powers and effects of the superpower fruits produced by the sacred tree next. Lushu began to sit down cross-legged. After this period of precipitation, I can now sprint towards a higher nascent soul realm again. Sit down cross-legged. 100 newly obtained intermediate nascent soul fruits were placed in front of Lushu. Do you want to consume X100 of intermediate nascent soul fruit and synthesize it into X10 of advanced nascent soul fruit? Yes. The next second, 10 high-grade nascent soul fruits were placed in front of Lushu. First, swallow a high-grade nascent soul fruit, immediately. The majestic spiritual energy condenses in nascent soul. The golden light surrounding the three Dharma bodies is even more dazzling. The aura on Lushu's body increased after some time. Not enough. Muttering to himself in a low voice, Lushu swallowed 3 more nascent soul fruits. This time, the spiritual energy was enough. The spiritual energy that overflowed in an instant stirred up the surrounding wind, and the world was a strange phenomenon. Even the cranes couldn't help but stop. Cultivating, looking in the direction of Lushu. I saw a golden light bathing Lushu's body. The 3 nascent soul bodies on his body suddenly appeared out of thin air, turning into golden shadows, floating above, and the treasure chest was majestic. Boom! Accompanied by a strange sound of breakthrough. Lushu's cultivation level successfully broke through from the original 2nd level of Yuanying to the 3rd level of Yuanying. However, he only took 4 Yuanying fruits, and the spiritual energy was still moving towards a higher level of cultivation. Lushu immediately stopped hesitating and swallowed the other 6 fruits. The cultivation level in the body began to surge towards a higher level again. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 122. As the 6 nascent soul fruits were eaten, the golden light on Lushu's body became more and more powerful. The 3 Dharma images suddenly buzzed, as if they were interacting with the great avenues of heaven and earth. Suddenly, the mythical buildings suddenly erupted with a burst of hazy brilliance. Colorful spiritual energy condensed in the sky above the sacred tree island, showing an auspicious omen. 3,000 strands of spiritual energy descended on Lushu like a waterfall, causing his cultivation level to increase rapidly. Skyrocketing, great improvement in strength. Boom! Suddenly, a thunderous roar sounded. The avenue trembled with a sound like a bell. The 3 Dharma bodies are majestic in appearance. The golden light is overflowing, and the cultivation level is rising. When he opened his eyes again, Lushu's cultivation had already rushed from the 3rd level of Yuanying to the 4th level of Yuanying. Avenue. A flash of light flashed in his eyes. Lushu's current spiritual consciousness seems to be able to capture a trace of Taoist rhyme, and there is a Taoist rhyme flowing. This level is quite rare in the nascent soul realm. It has even reached even in higher realms, one may not be able to glimpse the Tao Yun. However, the celestial map of the divine tree island, the connection with other mythological buildings, and the enlightenment attributes of the Bodhi tree. With the superposition of various opportunities, Lushu's progress is faster than ordinary people can imagine. As expected. It was the first time I saw Tao Yun at the 4th level of nascent soul. It's time to go to Shentong Pavilion. Lu Shu murmured softly. Shentong Pavilion, with its connotation of Taoist rhyme, can help him further consolidate his breakthrough. Step into Shentong Pavilion. It's like arriving in another world. It seems to have been influenced by the Tianji Tuesday. The Taoist rhyme inside the Shentong Pavilion is even more natural. Lu Shu took a deep breath, sat down cross-legged, and meditated for meditation. Those flowers and grass fell into Lu Shu's eyes and were no longer ordinary. It is like a painting of a saint, with different rhythms of Taoism. By understanding its natural laws, you can understand the profound meaning of heaven. Certainly. Lu Shu's current state is like seeing flowers in the mist, unable to see its true meaning. But being able to see it is already a big breakthrough. A flower contains a world. A blade of grass can kill the sun, moon, and stars. See the macro from the micro, and reveal the way of heaven from all things. Suddenly, Lu Shu opened his eyes. The next second, he gently pointed forward. A burst of Ling Ran's sword intent broke out from his fingertips, and when it hit a point in the sky and earth here, it burst out. A ferocious crack appeared. Understanding the laws of nature, Lu Shu learned how to compress the spiritual energy to a point and release 10 times the attack power in an instant. At that moment, Lu Shu also understood a small magical power, the attack power Big Rise. This move is quite effective when used to deal with boss that are not immune to physical attacks. Lu Shu took a deep breath and tried to understand the secret of magical power. He nodded slightly and his eyes were calm. He did not feel too much surprise about this breakthrough. Leave Shentong Pavilion. A thought came to my mind. Lu Shu suddenly took out the Zhu Xian sword. He felt that although his current cultivation level had not yet reached the requirements, he seemed to be able to initially control this divine sword. Buzz. A strange sword sound suddenly circulated between the heaven and the earth. The Zuxian sword seemed to recognize Lu Shu and was caught in his hand. What a strong sword spirit! Lu Shu showed a look of surprise. Just holding this divine sword in his hand, he only needed to wave it gently forward, and there seemed to be an extremely terrifying attack, bursting out from the tip of the sword, with devastating effects. The power of heaven and earth. Open the magic weapon panel. Zuxian sword. Category, Weapon. Grade, Myth. Attributes, Attack power add 10,000, Pierce add 1,250, Critical hit rate add 80%, Immune ignore add 50%, Retaliation ignore add 50%, Restraint ignore add 50%. Skill, 1 Sword Zhu Xian usage time limit, 10 minutes cooling time, 7 days. What a strong attribute! The moment he saw the attributes on the Zuxian sword panel, Lu Shu's eyes moved slightly, and he was shocked by the terrifying attributes of Zuxian sword. Just the 5-digit bonus to the attack power was already enough. It's scary enough. None of the basic attributes are weak, they are all ridiculously high. And the various resistances and immunities that follow show that this sword has no monsters that can avoid its damage. As long as the Zuxian sword is used, regardless of whether you are the 9-heaven god Buddha or the demon lord of the abyss, you will be killed with the divine sword. Correct. If this sword matches the little magical power I have learned, the power exerted may be extremely terrifying. Lu Shu's eyes lit up. The small magical power he learned in the Shentong Pavilion can instantly condense all attacks into one point, gaining extremely terrifying penetration. Combined with the Zhu Xian sword, it can even ignore the enemy's physical resistance. Used to kill the boss, it can be said to be a divine aid. However, the power of this sword is too strong. Therefore, at the current stage, Lu Shu can only control it for 10 minutes at most. If his cultivation level increases in the future, the duration of use will be, and can be increased a lot. Open the Sacred Tree panel. Since the end of the last product, the products of the Sacred Tree have been updated again. Products, Enlightenment Fruit X1, Nascent Soul Immortal Magic Fruit, Nascent Soul Magic Fruit. Production cycle, 6 days, 3900/650. After glancing at the products, it was not difficult for Lu Shu to guess that the next product would be related to various high-level skills in the Nascent Soul realm. However, the Immortal Magic Fruit, it makes Lu Shu feel a little interesting. As for the Fruit of Enlightenment, is it still a fruit that improves understanding? In any case, you will know the answer after waiting for a while. At this moment, another reminder came to Lu Shu's ear. Ding! Your special growth fruit tree has reached the production cycle, and the special growth fruit add 100. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 123. Ding! Your special growth fruit tree has reached the production cycle, and the special growth fruit add 100. Ding! Your special growth fruit tree has reached the production cycle, and the special growth fruit add 100. During the period of Lu Shu's cultivation, unknowingly, during this period, the 5 special growth fruit trees completed 2 production cycles. Because I was too absorbed in cultivation, the day passed by like this, and I didn't even notice the fruit I produced last time. There are another 1,000 special growth fruits. Lu Shu's eyes moved slightly. With so many special growth fruits, it seems that the golden dragon koi can evolve. It's been a long time since I improved the attribute of luck. With a thought in his mind, Lu Shu turned into a stream of light and flew with his sword. But in the blink of an eye, he reached the coast of the sacred tree island in an instant. The golden dragon koi seemed to sense something and hurriedly swam back towards the coast. This guy will never be absent if he has something to eat. Lu Shu couldn't help laughing, then took out a special growth fruit and threw it into the mouth of the golden dragon koi. The golden dragon koi instantly flipped, caught the fruit thrown by Lu Shu, and bit it down. A line of text suddenly popped up in front of me. The golden dragon koi swallowed a special growth fruit and gained add 200 evolution points. Golden dragon koi evolves from level 5 to level 6. 100,000 evolution points are needed. Only 500 special growth fruits are needed to complete the evolution. Lu Shu saw that there was still more in the budget, and it seemed that he could upgrade his crane or phoenix. He fed the remaining 499 special growth fruits to the golden dragon koi. The golden dragon koi swallowed a special growth fruit and gained add 200 evolution points. The golden dragon koi swallowed a special growth fruit and gained add 200 evolution points. Soon, as prompts popped up one after another, the figure of the golden dragon koi suddenly began to expand. Suddenly, a shadow of a dragon emerged from the body of the golden dragon koi. Occasionally, there are illusory dragon roars, echoing between heaven and earth. That moment, the sky above the sacred tree island turned into a golden cloud. There seems to be an auspicious sign, bringing blessings to all directions. The luck of the golden dragon koi can actually bring blessings to the entire sacred tree island. Lu Shu showed a slightly surprised look, marveling at the huge changes that had taken place on the golden dragon koi. That phantom of a dragon seemed to indicate that the bloodline of the golden dragon koi was getting closer and closer to the legendary real dragon. Tianmen suddenly sensed a trace of mythical blood and exuded a transcendental aura. It had a connection with the golden dragon koi, and even Tianmen seemed to be further reviving. All these scenes made Lu Shu feel somewhat satisfied. In front of him was also a new pet panel appears. Golden dragon koi. Category, mythical creature. Level, 6th level. Blessing aura, luck add 300, domain luck add 100. Evolution points, 2,500. Evolution points required to upgrade to level 7, 1 million. Field luck. Lu Shu immediately noticed this new attribute. As the name suggests, the entire Sacred Tree Island can now receive the bonus of domain luck. Luck is different from luck. If luck is only temporary, then luck is in a certain period. These big nodes can bring about different opportunities. Misfortunes and blessings depend on each other. Luck is a special attribute that can turn misfortunes into blessings. It is also an attribute that other divine tree masters can only dream of. What a good thing! Lu Shu couldn't help but sigh. The golden dragon koi has evolved to the 6th level, and even the entire Sacred Tree Island can be protected by luck. There is also a Tianji array to coordinate the laws of yin and yang and gather the 5 elements. In the future, the Sacred Tree Island is afraid that it can develop to a point beyond his expectation. After the golden dragon koi evolved, it became faster and even began to swoop towards the sea area below 3,000 meters. Lu Shu's eyes moved slightly. When he came to that when the abyss whirlpool. Lu Shu originally thought that the golden dragon koi would stop there, and he would need to use Dingai Pearl to get over this hurdle. What he didn't expect was, that thing appeared on the golden dragon koi's body again. The phantom of the golden dragon. In an instant, it turned into a golden stream of light and escaped into the abyss of the sea. This scene made Lu Shu marvel. Perhaps, after the golden dragon koi evolved, it gradually awakened the ability of the ancient legendary true dragon, and also had the ability to stir up the world. In this case, Lu Shu had to let go of the golden dragon and koi carp. That creature was not low in intelligence and strength, and it was also protected by luck. How could it be his turn to worry? Subsequently, Lu Shu found Wu Tongfeng. With the remaining 500 fruits, Lu Shu planned to upgrade Wu Tongfeng's level first. At this time, the large army in the Grey World had already left the Holy Land and began to move towards the Gate of Reincarnation at coordinates 100, 100. After practicing for such a long time, the large army has returned to the Grey World, and is getting closer and closer to this location. After upgrading the Enlightenment Crane, the understanding gained will not be of much use to Lu Shu for the time being. My understanding has completely overflowed. Therefore, Lu Shu does not plan to upgrade the Enlightenment Crane for the time being, but plans to upgrade the level of Wutong Phoenix again and obtain a higher level Divine Fire. And after Wutong Feng's level is upgraded, the improvement in combat effectiveness is also quite obvious. After feeding the remaining 500 special growth fruits, a phoenix cry completely filled the world. Wutong Phoenix was reborn in the fire again, with a divine wind posture. In those piercing eyes, fire burst out, and the pupils seemed to burn the entire flaming world. Open panel. Wutong Phoenix. Level 6. Skills, Divine Fire, Level S+, Divine Fire starting a prairie, Level S, Fengming Jushan, S+. Evolution Points, 2000. Evolution Points required to upgrade to Level 7, 1 million. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 124. Fengming Jushan. Lu Shu's eyes were focused on the new skills Wu Tongfeng had acquired. S and a level skill, it seems like it should be a range-type damage ability. The power is extraordinary. The next time the Grey Realm attacks the Sacred Tree Island, we can try to see what level Wu Tongfeng's combat power has reached. Open panel. Countdown, 8 days. Very soon. It's time to meet the next ranking list. At this moment, the large army from the Grey World had arrived at the Gate of Reincarnation. Lu Shu's attention immediately focused on Grey Realm. Location, Gate of Reincarnation. Coordinates, 100, 100. Danger coefficient. Description, there is a special door here. Only by getting the key from the abyss can this door be opened. However, when going inside, it is best to have the mentality that there is no way to come out again. The large army of the Grey World. The mighty Netherworld army swept away the nearby copies. Finally, we arrived at the gate of reincarnation. In front of you, a door made of void appeared. It smells of the abyss. This door probably has something to do with the abyss. A trace of suspicion emerged in Lu Shu's eyes. He left a teleportation array in place and sent all the pets back to the sacred tree island. It was the first time he entered a place like this, and he was not sure what dangers there were. Lu Shu did not want to let the pet army in rashly. Use the clone first, go in and see the situation, and then make a decision. Do you want to use Abyss Key X1 to open the door to reincarnation? Yes. The next second, this door made of void transformed into a passage. Please enter the gate of reincarnation within 1 minute, otherwise the passage will be closed. It was a clone anyway, and he could imprint another teleportation array upon entering. Lu Shu was fearless and went in head first. If it were other sacred tree masters, they would probably hesitate when they saw this scene. And this door was also very rogue, and only gave the divine tree master 1 minute to consider it. Some sacred tree masters who cherish their lives, seeing that the danger ahead is unpredictable, might have missed this opportunity after hesitating. Lu Shu possesses the art of cloning, so he naturally has no hesitation. Pass through the passage of Netherworld. Suddenly, Lu Shu felt that his field of vision was quickly compressed. Tip: you have entered the reincarnation area of the Grey World. The field of view is compressed by 99%. There will be reincarnation area natives here, please be careful. Looking around, Lu Shu found that his field of vision was compressed to only about 10 meters. It was almost the same as when he first entered the Grey World, but the searchlight source in his hand suddenly emitted a burst of light. The sacred flame dispelled the surrounding darkness and illuminated the surrounding scene for 100 meters. Wilderness. Weed. Ruins. Lu Shu tried to imprint a teleportation array on the spot. Fortunately, it was completed successfully. And I tried it and found that it can indeed be transmitted. In this way, even if something unexpected happens to your clone, you can just send another clone back at any time and that's it. Lu Shu walked forward. Suddenly, a shadow of a soldier appeared in front of him. The moment the soldier saw Lu Shu, he came over with a spear and killed him. A monster panel pops up in front of you. Samsara silhouette. Guard. Category: Samsara shadow. Danger factor: A+. Perception range: 100 meters. Power: 1200. Speed: 1150. Defense: 920. Skills: Dragon Dance Spear, Samsara Silhouette, A-level martial arts. Description: they were once the best in the holy city soldiers. Unfortunately, these ruins have been swallowed up and polluted by the abyss, and all the former existences can only reappear in the world as distorted silhouettes of reincarnation. Lu Shu's eyes turned cold, and a burst of Lingran's sword intent suddenly burst out from his fingertips, and his cultivation at the nascent soul realm suddenly blossomed. But a strange scene happened. When this sword energy landed on the guard, it actually penetrated through his body. The reincarnation silhouette is immune to non-divine attacks. The next second, the guards rushed towards Lu Shu. Lu Shu moved his toes, and with his amazing dodge ability, he immediately dodged the guard's attack. Although there was nothing he could do about the guard was so fast that he couldn't even touch the hem of his clothes. Interesting. Lu Shu smiled. According to the description on the panel, the monsters here are all monsters from the silhouette of reincarnation. In other words, although they were once warriors of the holy city, because this place has been swallowed and polluted by the abyss, so, these soldiers have actually died long ago, and the reason why they can appear here again is closely related to the pollution power of the abyss. In this case, these guards are just monsters, only appearing in the form of reincarnation silhouettes, which is more troublesome attributes. Therefore, some special attack methods are needed. Coincidentally, Lu Shu is not without divine attacks. He raised the searchlight source in his hand. The next second, the majestic sacred flame suddenly enveloped the guards. In just a few seconds, the guard was attacked by the sacred fire source and died on the spot. You kill the Samsara silhouette guard and get Samsara's shadow, add 1. The shadow of reincarnation. Lu Shu immediately checked the attributes. Shadow of reincarnation. Type, material. Function, used to make or enhance reincarnation type weapons and equipment, or to synthesize monsters in reincarnation copies. The next second. In Lu Shu's eyes, the synthesis panel of reincarnation silhouette guard appeared. Consume the shadow of Samsara X10 to synthesize a silhouette of Samsara. Guard. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 125. Lu Shu continued to explore forward. In this wasteland, a few guards will appear from time to time. Using the Master Fireball technique, Lu Shu directly used the power of divine fire to kill. Anyway, the attributes of these monsters are not very high, and their fighting methods are single. In addition to the divine fire, Lu Shu also has the Zeus Yen sword to use. This mythical weapon originally comes with divine damage. When Lu Shu entered this reincarnation area, in addition to the divine fire that could cause damage to these monsters, the Zeus Yen sword was the second trump card in his hand. After a period of exploration, the guards who came from the reincarnation area were all killed by Lu Shu one by one. You kill the Samsara silhouette guard and get Samsara's shadow, add 1. You kill the Samsara silhouette guard and get Samsara's shadow, add 1. Several prompts popped up in front of me. Before he knew it, Lu Shu had gathered 20 shadow of Samsara. Do you want to consume shadow of Samsara X20 to synthesize? Yes. As 2 synthesized light curtains lit up. There were 2 more guards beside Lu Shu. It's just that, these 2 guards are monsters under Lu Shu's command. Use resonance. Lu Shu's vision was connected with the 2 guards. The field of vision suddenly expanded to 300 meters. Placing 2 guards in front will allow you to explore more space. Gradually, a dilapidated road appeared ahead. After exploring all the way from the wasteland, there are already some signs of civilization nearby. Roar. Suddenly, at this moment, a roar of a demonic dragon came from the left. The guard in front was suddenly attacked by a burst of dragon flames. It suddenly turned into nothing and disappeared. Lu Shu looked towards the place where the guard was attacked. On top of a city gate, a figure covering the sky and the sun suddenly appeared. That behemoth had the wings and body of a demon dragon. It could spit out demonic flames from its mouth, and its breath had unparalleled intimidating power. The guards around him also rushed towards Lu Shu with spears in their hands. It turned out that we had arrived at the city gate. Lu Shu walked forward a few meters again and saw a city gate nearby. Since his detection range was too small, he needed to be very close to the city gate to see it. This is the role of the perception range. The most troublesome part of the reincarnation area is that only divine items will work. Ordinary searchlight sources will be suppressed by this special space. Roar. It roared again. The demon dragon had noticed Lu Shu's existence and rushed towards his direction. Only at this time did Lu Shu see the monster panel of the demon dragon. Reincarnation silhouette. Demonic dragon. Category, Shadow of Reincarnation, Demonic Dragon Clan. Danger coefficient, S. Perception range, 300 meters. Power, 3200. Speed, 2150. Defense, 3920. Skills, Reincarnation Silhouette, Demonic Dragon Bloodline, Dragon Flame Breath. Description: This kind of monster was originally the guardian of the holy city, and the dragon flames it spewed out had sacred properties. It's a pity that in the twisted form of reincarnation, all attributes are reversed when they appear in this world. Lu Shu dodged sideways and dodged Long Yan. He raised the search fire in his hand. Releasing the master fireball technique, a burst of divine fire swept towards the surroundings. However, the flame fell on the demon dragon, but it only caused the other party to let out a painful wail. But it didn't cause much damage. Lu Shu frowned slightly. The magic dragon originally had the ability of fire attribute. Therefore, there is quite a bit of resistance against fire. If you just use the fireball technique to deal with it, you don't know how long it will take to kill it. Nearby, a large number of guards were rushing towards here. In addition to the most ordinary guards before, there were also guard commanders with a risk factor of S level. There were also various guards holding swords, knives, and guns, heading towards rushing here. Lu Shu frowned slightly. When he got close to the city wall, the alarm of the holy city had been triggered. All the guards and dragons here regarded themselves as enemies. Such a large-scale scene, if just using the fireball technique, I don't know how long it will take to defeat all these enemies. He pondered for a moment. Finally, Lu Shu took a deep breath and thought. The next second, a sword light opened up the world, it turned into a long rainbow and broke through the darkness nearby. Come out, the Zuxian sword. When the divine sword was sacrificed, the world suddenly changed. Everything, in front of this supreme sword light, seemed extremely small and insignificant. Fragile. A vortex surged in the sky. The nearby void also trembled and vibrated violently due to the appearance of the Zuxian sword. It seemed to have the power to open the sky. Lu Shu held the Zuxian sword. At this moment, his whole body was surrounded by with the sword intention that wants to penetrate the sky. The three Dharma bodies turn into phantoms and float in the air, like the gods of war descending to earth, making people worship. Activate the cultivation of the whole body, the spiritual energy suddenly sweeps all around, the sword intention causes the surrounding space to crack inch by inch, and the sword the wind turned into ripples that covered the sky and swept the sun in all directions, causing the soil in the samsara area to begin to crack in all directions like a spider web. Lu Shu did not hesitate to concentrate all the realm of Yuanying on the sword. Above the tip, the sword light of the Zuxian sword is getting stronger and stronger. If there is a divine tree master here, he can feel the sword light condensed by Lu Shu, as if he is going to destroy the whole world. That is worse than facing a nightmare-level boss. A desperate attack, the surrounding demonic dragons and guards were unaware of death and rushed towards Lu Shu desperately. Although there were signs of civilization on their bodies, after all, they were just projections from the reincarnation area. It's just a monster, Lu Shu swung his sword. At that moment, the light of the sword turned into a huge aftermath, sweeping away all the enemies. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 126. The indestructible sword energy swept across thousands of miles, and all the monsters affected were destroyed by this sword. A series of ferocious ravines suddenly appeared on the ground, and even the plains were broken into canyons. The city gate was only swept away by the aftermath of the sword energy and turned into ruins. All the guards and soldiers in the vicinity, including the demon dragon, were swept away by the sword energy of the Zuxian sword, and none of them were spared. Lu Shu looked at the scene of ruins, and his mind was slightly shaken. Even he himself had never thought that when the Zuxian sword was activated, one sword Zuxian, the power burst out would be so terrifying that even the terrain of mountains and rivers would be instantly changed. Even if he reaches the level of nascent soul, Lu Shu may not be able to launch an attack of this level if he does not activate the Zuxian sword. A mythical weapon that lives up to its reputation. A series of prompts popped up in front of my eyes. You killed the silhouette of Samsara. Guard X1080 and obtain the shadow of Samsara X1080. You killed the silhouette of Samsara. Demonic Dragon X1, and got the Demonic Dragon Heart X1. The Heart of the Dragon. Lu Shu's eyes moved slightly, and then he clicked on the information panel of this item to see what the newly obtained item did. Dragon's Heart. Type, Reincarnation Consumables. Effect, has 50% immune disregard. Duration, 24h. In short, just by using Demon Dragon Heart, Lu Shu can cause damage to enemies appearing in the reincarnation area. The duration is also relatively long, lasting a day. When encountering monsters next, Lu Shu can use this item to gain the attribute of Immune Ignore. With his nascent soul realm cultivation, as long as he can cause damage to these monsters, it will only be a few percent. It's just a reference number. Lu Shu's eyes were focused on Shadow of Reincarnation. There are thousands of shadows of reincarnation. Hundreds of guards can be synthesized. Lu Shu immediately chose synthesis. Hundreds of white light curtains covered this area. Suddenly there were 100 more guards around Lu Shu. Use resonance. The vision was connected. Next, Lu Shu controlled the hundreds of guards to spread out and explore various parts of the Grey World. This way, the scope of exploration has changed from the original 100 meters to tens of thousands of meters. After the sword was cleared, all the nearby guards had disappeared. After entering the holy city, after some exploration, no more enemies were found, and Lu Shu could check the situation of the holy city more carefully. An ancient house with the remains of some kind of sacred civilization. There are shops next to the street, including blacksmith shops, medicine shops, inscription shops, etc., but the things inside only exist in the form of silhouettes and cannot be truly obtained. Everything tells that inside this gate of reincarnation, there once was a civilization of a holy city. But now, all the prosperity can only be known in the form of projection by the sacred tree masters who come later. And all the noble guards and soldiers in the holy city turned into silhouette monsters due to the erosion of the abyss. Lu Shu continued to explore the holy city for a while. At this moment, several notification sounds suddenly sounded in my ears. Ding! You got a Shadow Assassin fruit. Ding! You have obtained a Necromancer fruit. Sacred Tree Island. Lu Shu opened his eyes. After so many days of growth, Shadow Assassin fruit and Necromancer fruit have finally been collected to 10. Do you want to consume X10 Shadow Assassin fruit and synthesize it into S-level Shadow Assassin fruit X1? Should I consume X10 Necromancer fruit and synthesize it into S-level Necromancer fruit X1? Yes. Yes. A thought came to my mind. The next second, in front of Lu Shu, a career panel popped up. Occupation. Name, Shadow Assassin. Level, Extraordinary Level 1, upgraded to Level 9. Attributes, Attack Power add 520, Speed add 1020, Dodge add 375. Available skill points, 20. New skills. Killing Shadow Knife, LV1. Your weapon can be attached with the attribute effect of Killing Shadow, and has 10% immunity to ignore. Duration 10 minutes, cooling time 1h. Lu Shu immediately chose to put all 20 skill points on the new skill. The immunity attributes of the monsters in the reincarnation area were exactly what gave me a headache. The Shadow Assassin has reached the extraordinary level, and the newly acquired weapon enchantment skills actually have the effect of immunity and ignore. The skill points left before, combined with the upgrade to the extraordinary level, immediately came into effect. Soon, with a burst of upgrades, Lu Shu opened the Shadow Assassin skills panel again. Skills. Integrate into the night, LV2. In the dark, blend into the night, 100% immune to physical damage, movement speed add 50. Shadow escape, LV2 teleport within a range of 1 km. Shadow movement speed, LV3 transform into a shadow, movement speed add 200. Demon knife 1000 blades, LV8 your weapon blade can be split into 1000 fragments, each fragment causing 30% damage to the enemy. Shadow kill, LV4 summon a shadow, gain 55% of the body's attack power and full stealth effect, and assassinate the enemy. Killing shadow knife, LV21 your weapon can be attached with the attribute effect of killing shadow, and has 70% immunity duration, 50 minutes, cooling time, 1h. 50 minutes duration, 1 hour cooldown. This is almost no cooling time. Just a few more levels, my immunity is ignored, and I can even use it seamlessly. Lu Shu's eyes suddenly lit up. Then, he looked at the profession panel of the necromancer. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 127. Occupation. Name, Necromancer. Level, Extraordinary Level 1, upgrade to Level 9. Attributes, Spirit add 1000, Perception add 300, Magic add 2000, Special Perception add 50. Available skill points, 20. New skill. Disappear, LV1 designate an area, and the Grey World monsters in this area will disappear in the long river of time. If this area existed in its past form, it would completely collapse. Range of 10 meters, cooling time of 30 minutes. Disappearing skills can also cause damage to monsters in the reincarnation area. Seeing how useful this skill was, Lu Shu tried to add a few skill points to disappear. Soon, the range becomes 20 meters, and the cooldown time becomes 28 minutes. This bonus is quite good. Lu Shu's eyes lit up slightly. He used 10 skill points in a row. The casting range of disappear has become 100 meters, and the cooling time has also become only 10 minutes. However, when a skill point is used again, except that the range becomes 110 meters, the cooldown time becomes 9 minutes, which is only reduced by 1 minute. After thinking for a moment, Lu Shu continued to add 5 more points. However, when the cooling time reaches 5 minutes, it will no longer decrease. Lu Shu focused on the remaining 4 points on the soul magic. View the career panel again. Skills. Undead perception, LV2 you can sense the breath of the undead within a range of 5,000 meters. Undead magic, LV9 consume spiritual power and magic power to summon an undead with an SS level danger coefficient. Undead control, LV8 you can control undead whose danger coefficient is SS level and below. Undead storm, LV8 control up to 4,500 surrounding undead with danger coefficients below SS level, and launch attacks at the corresponding target. Undead refining, LV4 you can collect the recently deceased souls of the living and refine them into undead for control. The higher the level of the living, the stronger the refined souls will be. You can refine souls with a risk factor of up to S level. Undead control, professional exclusive defeat an undead, completely control it with spiritual power, and cultivate undead monsters. Disappear, LV17 designate an area, and everything in this area will disappear in the long river of time. If this area existed in its past form, it would completely collapse. Range 160 meters, cooling time 5 minutes. In addition to the short cooling time, which can be used repeatedly in a battle, Lu Shu's undead magic also summons SS-level black shadows. Moreover, the SS-level black shadow can also copy some of Lu Shu's skills. Among them, the Dark Knight Assassin's shadow killing skills can be copied. But, the realm of cultivating immortals is not good. This also shows that the profession of cultivating immortals is special. At this time, Wu Tongfeng suddenly spit out a blast of divine fire. the divine fire glowed with more sacred attributes and slowly floated into Lu Shu's hand. The attributes contained in this divine fire will not have any impact on Lu Shu. Divine fire source. Lu Shu's eyes moved slightly, and then he took out the searchlight fire source and fused it with the divine fire source bred by Wutong Phoenix. Buzz. As a strange sound echoed in all directions, the fire sources merged together, and suddenly a majestic divine fire burst out, covering all directions and spanning the sky. At this time, Angelman came to Lu Shu's divine fire and actually absorbed it. Can the sacred flames of these little guys also acquire the properties of divine fire? Lu Shu felt a little surprised. In this way, if Angel Beast follows him to the reincarnation area, it can cause damage to the enemy. Let Yuamai possess Angelman. Most of Angelman's attributes should be able to reach S level. And Angelman's potential can almost reach S end level. Go to the reincarnation area and fight, it's not a big problem. Thinking of this, Lu Shu immediately used his mental power to communicate with the clones in the Grey World, carved a teleportation array, and sent Yumi and Angelman there. Although Pikachu and Little White Fox also wanted to go, considering that the monsters in the reincarnation area were too if they are too special, these attacks will have no effect on the monsters. Soon, a teleportation light curtain descends. 100 angel beasts arrive in the reincarnation area. Open the panel, countdown, 6 days left for Lu Shu to explore, not a lot. Grey World. Reincarnation area. 100 angel beasts, bathed in sacred flames, appeared from the teleportation array. These little guys came to the battlefield for the first time. Although they didn't know much about the surrounding situation, they evolved into Angelman. The fighting spirit flowing in their blood gave Angelman a good fighting consciousness. Under Yuamai's guidance, he was able to quickly adapt to the Grey World's fighting rhythm. Focus on the searchlight source. Divine fire source. Level, intermediate. Attributes, divinity add 12, holy add 2, immunity ignore add 10%, fire attribute add 100. At this moment, a guard was suddenly attacked. Lu Shu looked around and saw a priest in grey robes, chanting an obscure spell. When the light curtain fell on the guard's figure disappeared immediately. Are they high-level monsters in this area? Although Lu Shu's resonance vision disappeared, from the last picture, he could see the face of the monster. The temple was located 2,000 meters ahead. Angelman, follow me. Lu Shu turned his head and said something to Angel Beast, and then rushed towards the direction of the temple. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 128. The temple reveals dim lights, and buildings with various statues of gods are scattered in all directions. They are carved with statues of goddesses and statues of gods with human heads and snake bodies. There used to be a divine civilization here. Lu Shu walked towards the interior of the church. A figure wearing sacrificial attire held an ancient mystical book in his hand, but his eyes were extremely empty, looking deeply at the direction Lu Shu was coming. When he saw the sacrifice, a monster panel immediately popped up in front of Lu Shu. Reincarnation silhouette. Sacrifice. Category, Shadow of Reincarnation. Danger coefficient, S+. Perception range, 1000 meters. Power, 3200. Speed, 2150. Defense, 2920. Skills, Reincarnation silhouette, Sacrifice of the living. Description, a former sacrifice in the Holy City, controlling the power of prophecy. After being distorted by reincarnation, they also have this incredible ability. Stupid humans. You've come to a place you shouldn't have come to. From the mouth of the sacrifice, a monster roared. The next second, endless black traces spread towards Lu Shu like a tide. Light the sacred fire. The fire source in Lu Shu's hand suddenly turned into a sea of fire, spreading around, dispersing the black tide. Then, cast the killing shadow blade. The ink-colored blade turned into a deep light, emblazoned on the tip of Lu Shu's sword. Then, the holy sword of war in Lu Shu's hand suddenly it split into thousands of fragments and turned into 1,000 blades of the magic knife, whizzing away in the direction of the sacrifice. With the added effect of the killing shadow blade, each piece of the magic knife was accompanied by a dead black light, as if it could pass through the cycle of time. The past history was also killed in the silence of the sword. The blade that spanned the long river of time made the priest feel the fatal threat, and roared again. A large area of ink appeared on the priest's body like a tide, which was strange. The ground covered the entire sky, as if it was going to swallow up all the blades completely. However, the killing shadow blade didn't care about these fancy tricks at all, and instantly passed through the black mist, heading towards the sacrifice without any hindrance. As the nirvana the blades pierced into the body of the priest one by one. The black wave nearby disintegrated in a second. The priest made a hoarse and unpleasant voice, I will definitely make you fall into reincarnation, and you will never become a god. An extinct sword light flashed through again. Lu Shu's expression was cold. He was already on the verge of death, yet he was talking so much nonsense. He controlled the magic sword and gave the opponent the final blow. Lu Shu's face also popped up smoothly. A tip. You have killed the silhouette of reincarnation. Sacrifice. Get reincarnation candle X1. Get book of prophecy X1. Get the samsara robe X1. Lu Shu's eyes immediately focused on the reincarnation candle. Reincarnation candle. Category, special consumables. Function, use the reincarnation candle to project the rough outline of the reincarnation area. Duration, 10 minutes. Simply put, this is a tool similar to a lookout. Can temporarily obtain the entire appearance of this area. In this way, there is no need to waste the strength of the guards to investigate the situation nearby. Lu Shu thought about it and chose to use it. The next second, from the burning of the candles, the entire holy city was revealed. At the end of the holy city, a huge demonic dragon phantom was suspended in the air. There were also some people wearing more advanced sacrificial clothes and a man holding the scepter of God standing beside him. Boss area. Although there is no prompt popping up yet, Lu Shu can easily judge that the core area of the holy city, that is, the sacrificial platform where the group of monsters are located, is where the boss battle will take place. Focus on the book of prophecy. The monster from the abyss that controls reincarnation will bring a huge blow to the kingdom of God. No one can resist the power of reincarnation. We can only wait until that monster inherits the will of the abyss and spreads the erosion of the abyss of reincarnation in all directions. Only by breaking through 7 reincarnations and collecting all the breath of reincarnation can the destined one have the possibility of defeating the abyss lord level monster. But there are very few people who can do all this. Because, so far, no war god can face the power of the abyss. It turns out that the gate of reincarnation is a lord-level monster from the abyss. It controls the power of reincarnation and spreads the abyss. This lord-level monster has a very special ability. It turns other places into reincarnation gates to spread its power. It can be said that this reincarnation area is a special abyss. Only by passing through the 7 gates of reincarnation can this lord-level monster be killed. If the reincarnation lord is killed, then maybe he can come into contact with the real abyss. Lu Shu's eyes moved slightly. From the last sentence in the prophecy, it is not difficult to see that in addition to this reincarnation area, there are 6 other reincarnation gates that need to be passed through. This is just one of them. The reincarnation robe is also extraordinary equipment, but since it has no set effect, Lu Shu left it alone for the time being. His eyes shifted to the boss area. As long as the monsters in this area are solved, the gate of reincarnation may be broken. Got it? Angelman, let's go. Lu Shu led 100 angel beasts and walked towards the area where the boss was fighting. Soon, the monsters in the boss area noticed Lu Shu's presence and instantly launched attacks one after another, sweeping towards Lu Shu. Past. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 129. There are thousands of figures standing in the huge square like a sacrificial platform. Densely packed guards were stationed in the square, and several ferocious dragons were imprisoned in iron chains. Once. This is the highest combat power of the holy city. The priest standing in the middle of the sacrificial altar holds a scepter and possesses divine power. The top of the scepter bloomed with golden light, reflecting the brilliance flowing all over the priest's body, as if he was bathed in divine light. Lu Shu came to the altar and focused on the priest. A boss panel suddenly popped up in front of me. Reincarnation silhouette. Divine envoy. Type, Reincarnation shadow. Danger coefficient, S+. Perception range, 1,500 meters. Power, 5,200. Speed, 4,150. Defense, 3,920. Skills, Reincarnation silhouette, Destiny sacrifice, Reverse reincarnation, Overlapping shadow. Description: Holy City. The former divine envoys were able to control the power of divinity. When they became silhouettes of reincarnation, the power of divinity also transformed into the power of the abyss. Come within the monster's perception range. Nearby. All the guards sensed Lu Shu's arrival. The monsters in these holy cities have certain intelligence and know how to use language to notify their accomplices when encountering enemies. In a blink, thousands of guards, under the instructions of the divine envoy, rushed towards Lu Shu. You am I, possessing Angelman. Angelman, use holy flame. Clear out all nearby monsters. Lu Shu commanded calmly. The moment Yumi possessed Angelman, a panel popped up in front of her eyes. Angelman. Type, Digimon. Powers, Acid Bubble, Air Cannon, Fist of Heaven, Burning Fruit, Holy Flame. Physical, S. Speed, A+. Spirit, S. Overall potential, S+. After being possessed by UMI, Angelman, his mental power has been strengthened from A and level to S level. The consumption of using various powers is relatively small. Boom. Lines of divine flames descended from the sky, like world-destroying fireballs, covering the sacrificial platform. All the guards affected were burned to death by the divine flames in a short period of time. Most of the scene was cleared in an instant. The angel's eyes turned slightly cold. When he saw that Angel Beast's fire attack had divine attributes, the scepter in his hand immediately pointed in the direction of the demon dragon. A twisted black light curtain shot out from the top of the scepter, cutting off all the iron chains that imprisoned the demonic dragon. Click. Click. Along with the sound of the chains being untied, the dragon let out an angry roar. Its first reaction was to bite the divine envoy to death. This creature doesn't seem to be an easy monster to tame. However, the divine envoy silently recited a sacrificial incantation. The demon dragon's pupils gradually became blurred, and its consciousness was gradually controlled by the divine envoy. It moved its huge figure, spread its wings, leaped into the air, blew out a jet of black dragon breath, roared upwards, and rushed towards the angel beast. Thinking too much, Lu Shu directly sacrificed the holy sword of war in his hand, and enchanted it with the skill effect of killing Shadow Blade. There was only 10 minutes of cooling time, and it had already been cooled down on the way here. 1,000 blades, immediately, it tore apart the nearby demon dragons. Their bodies were still in mid-air, and Lu Shu's blade launched various slashes mercilessly. After reaching the realm of Yuanying, Lu Shu's attack power was not at all like those of these demons. The dragon could withstand it. Even if the blade's damage was only about 30%, it still caused huge damage to the demon dragon. The figures of the demon dragons fell towards the ground. At this time, Angelman, the sacred flames released had almost completely wiped out the surrounding guards. You have offended an existence that cannot be provoked. The divine envoy had a cold face and a hoarse voice. He said a meaningless word, and he just raised his scepter. Suddenly, the space next to the divine envoy suddenly became distorted. Lu Shu's body suddenly burst out with a burst of energy. A huge amount of magic power. Activate disappear. The bone staff in your hand was gently tapped in the direction of the divine envoy. The next second, the space around the divine envoy suddenly turned into a colorless gray. The angel's eyes widened in astonishment, unable to understand why a human could possess such a skill. Before the divine envoy could react, the gray space suddenly became distorted. In just the blink of an eye, the body of the divine envoy was involved in the dust of history due to this strange distortion. The silhouette of reincarnation suddenly turned into nothing. Without even releasing a single skill, the divine envoy was instantly killed by Lu Shu. Ding! You killed the boss of the Gate of Reincarnation this time. You have obtained the Book of Reincarnation. You got the Abyss Key X2. You got the Reincarnation Staff, Extraordinary Level, X1. You have obtained the Mark of Reincarnation X1. Several reward reminders popped up next to Lu Shu. With the death of the divine envoy, the nearby silhouette of reincarnation suddenly turned into nothing. Boom! What followed was the disintegration of the entire space. The surrounding images were shattered like a dream. Everything was fading away. When he opened his eyes again, Lu Shu suddenly found that he appeared at his original position in the gray world again. And the place where the Gate of Reincarnation was originally located suddenly disappeared. It turned into a huge hole. The searchlight source in his hand burst into light again at the moment the reincarnation area collapsed, lighting up the surrounding space for thousands of meters. An abyss appeared in front of Lu Shu. And this is the true face of the Gate of Reincarnation. At this time, Lu Shu looked at the map again. The information on it had changed. Gray Realm. Location, Abyss of Reincarnation. Coordinates, 100, 100. Danger Coefficient, SS. Boss, Divine Envoy, killed. Description: this is the Abyss created by the reincarnation controller of the Abyss, and that is the Lord of the Abyss level monster. Like this Abyss, it has 6 more. At the same time, an achievement prompt pops up. Congratulations to the player Lush Urin, who received the reward for clearing the Gate of Reincarnation for the first time and received the Reincarnation Pendant, Special. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 130. Congratulations to the player Lush Urin, for getting the reward for clearing the Gate of Reincarnation for the first time. This reminder didn't just ring in Lu Shu's ears. At the same time, it still echoes throughout world public screen. Hearing that Lu Shu had won the reward for passing the Gate of Reincarnation for the first time, all the sacred tree masters were excited again. Did the tree lumping boss get his first achievement reward again? This is too awesome. The door to reincarnation? Does anyone know what this is? Why haven't I heard of it? It sounds very powerful. Isn't it a special copy? We got a Linyuan mission last time, but we haven't found the whereabouts of the Linyuan mission yet. Why does Mr. Lushu seem to have gotten something new? Absolutely, the progress of Lushu boss has surpassed all the sacred tree masters in the Shenshu game. There are 1 billion sacred tree masters, and not even one of them has touched the copy of Lushu boss. Don't say it so categorically, there may be some big guys who know about the gate of reincarnation, but who is willing to tell you here? Tens of thousands of messages scroll through every second. The fact that Lu Shu obtained the Gate of Reincarnation achievement has also spread throughout the entire Sacred Tree game. In fact, some of the Sacred Tree Masters responsible for opening up Wasteland in the Grey World have actually visited the remaining Gates of Reincarnation. But they discovered that opening this door required special props such as the Abyss Key. This kind of place had only been marked, but they had never been there. Lu Shu opened the door to reincarnation and achieved great achievements, which attracted the attention of these Sacred Tree Masters. A Sacred Tree Master is none other than Mu Yu Tingfeng. Sacred Tree Island. Mu Yu Tingfeng frowned slightly. I didn't expect the tree lover to have reached this level. That's right. Through a series of precognitive abilities, Mu Yu Tingfeng gained a little understanding of the Gate of Reincarnation, a Lord-level monster from the true Abyss. And this Abyss is not the same concept as the Abyss-level copy. It is very likely that the secrets of the entire Grey World are hidden. How was the civilization in the Grey World buried? Why did these grey fogs appear? Perhaps everything has something to do with this Abyss. What Mu Yu Tingfeng wants to do is explore the Abyss. But as she continued to explore the holy ruins of the Grey World, she discovered more and more that the existence of this Abyss might be far beyond her imagination. Any monster that comes out of the Abyss has the ability to destroy the Tree Master. With the current overall progress and strength of the Tree Master, if you want to compete with the Abyss, you are simply seeking death. Mu Yu Tingfeng guessed that since this Abyss is related to the emergence of the Grey World, it may also be related to the progress of the entire Sacred Tree game. Perhaps, the overall progress of the Divine Tree Master must keep up with the progress of the spread and invasion of the Abyss, in order to be able to complete the mission. The fight between the Sacred Tree Masters may be just a cover. The purpose is that the Grey World wants to suppress the overall development of the Sacred Tree Masters. After all, during Mu Yu Tingfeng's investigation, it was discovered that the Abyss was constantly expanding in all directions, so sooner or later, the Divine Tree Master might be captured. By then, if the overall strength of the Divine Tree Master is suppressed by the Abyss, then even the monsters in the Grey World will not be able to defeat it, and becoming a god will be a joke. Therefore, Mu Yu Tingfeng chose to organize some of the Sacred Tree Masters first to form Mu Yu Pavilion. With her strength and prediction ability, she had a unique advantage in identifying talents. After a period of development, all the Sacred Tree Masters who were suitable for development in Mu Yu Pavilion were retained. However, some of the Sacred Tree Masters with malicious intentions either died mysteriously or died mysteriously under the secret guidance of Mu Yu Tingfeng's ability, automatically withdrawing from the group. Today's Mu Yu Pavilion is even looming above the Dark Knight Alliance. However, what Mu Yu Tingfeng didn't expect was that the Lushuran had already begun to conquer the Abyss that he couldn't even explore. As for the Gate of Reincarnation, as an Abyss Lord-level monster, even if it is a randomly derived copy, it is definitely not something that ordinary Sacred Tree Masters can taint. The fact that Lu Shu was able to obtain the achievement showed that his progress was completely ahead of the other Sacred Tree Masters. This was what Mu Yu Tingfeng was extremely worried about. If Lu Shu speeds up the progress of the entire Sacred Tree game, then this also means that other Sacred Tree Masters will face more dangers in disguise. You know, once Abyss realizes that Lu Shu is growing too fast, he will definitely take action against other Divine Tree Masters. By then, if Lu Shu can withstand Abyss, then other Sacred Tree Masters can withstand this. A level of offense. If this continues, Mu Yu Tingfeng feels that his life and the safety of others will be in danger because of Lu Shu's existence. Think of this. Mu Yu Tingfeng sent a message to Anye. Dark Island. Opening his eyes, Anye saw the chat box in front of him and raised his eyebrows slightly. He replied, "You can actually send me a message." Mu Yu Tingfeng, what? Are you surprised? And yeah, tell me, if something happens, Since you are willing to take the initiative to find me, then you must tell everyone it's related to the sacred tree game. Mu Tingfeng took a deep breath and explained the current situation of the sacred tree game and Lu Shu's influence. If you don't want this plug-in character to threaten all our sacred tree masters, then it's best to suspend the fight with Mu Pavilion now and find a way to deal with the tree master first. Anya laughed and said, "Are you sure you can deal with the tree raider?" Mu Tingfeng said, "You should be one of the sacred tree masters who want to deal with him most, right?" Anya was silent for a moment. Mu Tingfeng was right. If there is anyone who wants to kill the tree lover the most, then this person must be Anya.